Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamey Daddy channel. So yes, I've seen all of your notifications. I appreciate you all. Sean Lee, Creative Hands 101, all of you OGs here in the community. You have been spamming my messages and comments saying, go check this game out. And I appreciate that because I would not have known that there's a game that actually does look a lot like the Division 1 that is marketing itself to be an open world survival based game, third person, with very decent graphics so far from its presentation. And this game absolutely looks like it wants to take on the Division community. We're not going to hide it. So my goal in this video is to talk a little bit about this concept and why this concept even has me excited, even though I'm not a huge zombie game player. I mean, far be it from me to pick up any zombie game out there, but I have found myself playing a few of them. And I can tell you that this concept is quite interesting. And I even think that the community has mixed feelings. And when I say the community, I mean the target audience for this game. Let's not fool ourselves, folks. This game is targeting the Division players. I mean, look at my Division agent here standing in New York by the base of operations. I mean, what do you think? What do you think about this? Isn't it just so reminiscent of the New York that we had from the Division 1 that we so dearly love? I am certain that this company has done extensive research, or this development team has done extensive research on the community of Division 1 players and are trying to sell something to a segment of us. Now, let me get into this whole video and let me see if I can break it down as quickly and as succinct as I can. So, the name of this game is going to be called The Day Before. This is a reveal trailer. The game is not yet out, and it seems like it's going to be for PC so far. Now, the opening basically shows these people, or a scene where someone's driving around New York City, basically a pandemic or whatever post-apocalyptic type New York City setting. And I remember one of the big issues a lot of people said was they wish you could drive through NYC. Already, I think you can already see some level of technical issues with that. You're probably going to be able to drive, but it's going to be challenging for you to be able to maneuver across different settings. And so if you're being chased down by hordes of, monsters or maybe other AI players or whatever, I guess the game has to actually I would say account for those things, but you never know. It might be a thing where they want you to traverse to farther parts of the New York City style map, or the city map, let's not call it New York City, in order for that to be a gameplay aspect. The second aspect I think that we need to look at too is the segment that this game seems to be targeting. Now, there is a segment of Division players that enjoy playing DayZ and enjoy playing a lot of these open world survival games. I know many of us, we think that because we're purists of the Division and we don't play zombie games or we don't play a lot of PvP games, there is a segment of us in the community that enjoy games like this. And I can see that segment actually buying the game day one. In fact, I have some of you in the community that are content creators who basically enjoy games like these. I even have some of you that are members, audience members here, that are subscribers that have told me, hey, go play DayZ. You are the target audience for this game. And I'm sure that if you can get your hands on it, you're most likely going to. So this is actually pretty cool and pretty unique. Now, when I, saw this trailer and they walked into this store, I thought, man, this looks like a store that you could just, walk into on the Division map. But that was not necessary. And then the soda machine. I mean, who does a soda machine? Like, if you're doing a soda machine, you're talking to the Division players. They hit it twice. When you hit the soda machine twice, you're knocking on the door of Division agents, man. You're saying, yo, Division agents, I got you. But then when it came down to the stealth-based mechanics and the movement, it really did remind me of The Last of Us. And I've played the first Last of Us. I haven't played the second one. I'm waiting to buy it like dirt cheap, $5. And so that was a good reminder. And to me, I thought, yeah, depending on how they structure this game, I think this is the one place that I'm going to, want to play it, because the aim system is Last of Us like. I mean, look at the sights that you have on there. I mean, that the aim sights, that's actually very Last of Us-esque. So there are, multiple components being set here. They're taking the environmental storytelling of the Division and the Division game and putting it in a survival style game that is modeled after games like DayZ, with some PvP elements and then some other PvE elements that are reminiscent of The Last of Us as well. So this is a very interesting concept, and I think they may have narrowed down the market to be able to get a target audience. Now, what is the community's reaction so far about this concept? I've seen mixed feelings. I've been reading comments, been checking out a whole bunch of different stuff, trying to see what people think about this stuff. And so far, there is some sort of a split aspect to those who have basically seen this game. Some people have said, man, I would be happy to check this out. But the problem is it seems like it's going to be coming out on PC so far. And to that, I say, I think what we need to do at this stage is, for those of us who are division agents, we just need to continue to keep be on the lookout to see how far they're going to advance this game. And then there are some segment of people who've said, I'll see what it's like. I'll keep an eye on it. I want to play Outriders more because it's more PvE. I'm not a fan of zombies and all of that stuff. And so that's also another segment of the audience that this game seems to be, targeting in that sense. And to me personally, I'll tell you what I think. I genuinely think that this is a project that I would like to support. And even though I may not play it, it's one of those games that I would like to, just basically buy and keep in my library to support this development team, because I've mentioned this before, and I didn't even remember I had mentioned it, but one of you reminded me in the comment section. I think it was Simon or so. You said, well, you once said that it's only a matter of time before another team comes to try to make a game that will basically appeal to the Division audience. And I thought Remnants was that game at that time, but I said, I think we may need to hold off a little longer, but I am shocked that we're not actually going to be waiting as long as I thought. That, this game that comes with that Remnant style indie mindset looks very good on its own. And so that's actually very interesting to see. Now, again, you also have the concerns of the trailer looking very fake and not looking very realistic. Ladies and gentlemen, this game, sure, you're not going to get it in this form. I mean, obviously, this is a in-game engine gameplay display. Look at the way the cameras are moving and all that stuff. You're probably not going to get this quality, on all platforms, but you're not going to get anything too far from this if, big, massive if, they optimize the game very well. Look at the Division 1. Even if I were to show you footage from the Division 2 right now, you're going to see that the graphics are not necessarily that different. The only difference that you're going to, basically notice is the night and day difference and the way they've decided to do their lighting. I mean, the Division 1 has a very interesting and very well done global illumination setting, the way they've just basically decided to, light up the whole world. But this other game doesn't seem like it's too far-fetched from trying to do a good job. And if they were to pick maybe one setting, maybe a nighttime setting, maybe that could work. But are they going to add dynamic, time settings? Are they going to add dynamic daylight settings and all that stuff? How are they going to pull that off? These are questions that the game will still need to answer to be able to convince more Division agents. I mean, some people are already convinced. They know they're going to play this game when it comes out. And so I've seen people say, oh, it looks kind of fake. The presentation is kind of fake. Maybe the presentation may not have been authentic because, massive Ubisoft, the last time they showed us a trailer, they literally just brought the game and said, yo, play the game. And everybody was like, what? The game is available? It was just like E3. If you remember that, they were like, oh, here's this game. We're going to hype it. Now here's a controller. And so that was the very best way for them to basically hype the game. So this development team needs to understand that the next time that they come on the scene, they probably need to make sure that they have some kind of a demo ready for people to get their hands on. Because if you're going to be competing for a segment of the Division's audience, you're not going to do so with just a trailer. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the trailer is not going to be representative in a huge percentage of the game. I'm just saying that a trailer is not sufficient in today's day and age. Gamers are very skeptical. In fact, they see something very good. The natural inclination of most gamers is to say it's too good to be true. So if you don't want gamers to actually judge your game as too good to be true right off the bat, you really have to come through and all of that. And then finally, as a content creator in this community, I think it's basically caught the eye of every content creator in the Division, and they'll be looking at it. It doesn't mean that we're going to play the game, but I remember one of our content creators says, yo, you devs, if you guys, have some kind of a beta or a test key, send it my way or whatever it is. And I laughed and I said, if they really want to appeal to this audience, I think they really have to go down to the community level that it seems like Ubisoft Massive has not necessarily leveraged like Destiny does. Now, let me explain what I mean. I'm not trying to, conflate our objectivity as a community. I think this is more of an open conversation that someone's got to have it at the same time. So Destiny content creators usually have a lot of sit downs with Bungie. I mean, I was listening to, I think it was, what's his name? I can't remember his name exactly, one of the content creators, and he said, we sat down with Bungie and they were talking about some of the plans and the future to move ahead. I was like, what content creators sit down with Bungie? The last time we heard of anything like that was at some ETF. That has not happened in the Division community in a while, where some content creators get to speak to the developers on the game. Instead, there has been an ETF, but the ETF has not necessarily been, of the same, I would say, it hasn't been of the same composition of what you had content creators and non-content creators in that sense. And so that's the one thing that's been missing. So if this community wants to leverage, the fact that there are content creators that are going to be willing to just say, hey, if you like these kinds of games, check it out. I think that's another thing that, can really be to their advantage. And I want them to have all kinds of advantage because I want somebody to compete with Massive. In fact, look at the way people are describing this game. A Division ripoff, a Division type game. The Division is already its own genre in a sense. Can you see that we're subconsciously doing it? And for the longest time, I've tried to say this, that the Division is very unique, not like any of these games that you can find out there. And it does have something of its own. And it seems like any game that tries to even use some of the elements from the Division, the game basically is automatically put in that same category as a Division style game. Nothing wrong with that, but like we've said many times, the environmental side of Division, the environmental storytelling, the New York, the atmosphere, that is what I think this team is trying to replicate. Yes, they didn't throw the snow on the ground, but they did put that dark atmosphere. They did it, and they just basically, put it in a map that a lot of the community has basically had, some level of connection with from the past. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are my thoughts on the day before in the trailer and the reveal, whatever it is that they've shown. I think it's a solid concept. I would like to see another team continue on this pattern where they're looking for the sweet spot to get the Division audiences to play their game. And so I like this concept. It's not necessarily 100% for me, but at the same time, I will be happy to support it because it is wanting to do something that is close to home for a lot of us. So whoever is out there developing third-person shooters, you now have somebody who has decided to, set their feet in the water. What is the community saying about this game? Largely, they're going to be able to find their own audience within the Division. They're going to get a slice of Division community, that's for sure, because there's an overlap of people who play the kinds of games that they're trying to make here. But then who wants to make the game that would appeal to a larger Division community? You're out there somewhere, and I'm appealing to you that you probably need to get and bury down, into your work. And I'm certain that this community will be happy to engage you if you bring a good product. So that's it for me. Thank you so much. Massive, they're knocking at your door. I told y'all. Peace.